Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, the cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. Every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
And we have our first in-person guest in who knows when.
A return guest, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Dan from Around the Bend Brewing. Good to have our beer co, right?
Yeah, it's beer co, exactly. Everybody fucks that up.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And I don't know. We've talked during all the last 2 years. We've picked up beer. We've had beer on here, juice trials, and other things. And now
Nice.
you've got this new series, and we're just here to talk about this and everything that you got going on.
And anything else you want. Absolutely. Absolutely.
A little catch up. I forgot about Juice Trials. Juice Trials was nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't around a bit. I guess I wasn't used to it because the art was different, right? I feel like Juice Trials had a little different art than what we were used to.
Yeah, we change the label each time we brew it because we change the hops each time we brew it. So figure, got to show somebody there's something different about
And
this
then we
thing.
just had the Vienna Lager.
Oh, the Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver
That's
not
right.
too long ago. That was
Right.
tasty.
Yeah.
That one turned out nice.
Yeah.
I was really happy with that.
Especially Nick and I are all about these lagers these days. We're just like easy drinking, low
know,
ABV beers. Let's
And
go.
you can get a little more sweetness on the Vienna one, It's fun. It kind of takes your mind off your just traditional, what we all know to be a lager, like the mass lagers,
Exactly. It's not a Pils or something like that. It's,
Right.
Yeah.
So where we gotta open a beer. So where do we
Yeah.
start?
Let's start with the strawberry pie.
Strawberry pie.
Strawberry pie a la mode.
Okay, so I was in a month ago now, and you gave me a little taste of this. I don't know from the. But
Yeah, did it
just
pull off
to
the fermenter,
test,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is good and red.
Look at
right
that
there,
color.
man.
That's like staining. That's got a staining
Yeah,
nose.
yeah. So
Don't
this
wear
is
anything
the first in a new series, as you mentioned, that we're doing. We're kind of affectionately referring to it as the Pastry Party.
Okay.
So it will be Pastry Sours and then eventually in the fall Pastry Stouts.
Okay.
So it'll kind of encompass, all that jazz.
Okay, because that's the cinnamon roll.
Yeah, we
Here,
got kind of a
stout.
pilot batch on that we can talk about
Okay.
too if you want. But this first one, strawberry pie a la mode, kind of like what we do with our acid test. We're not doing a kettle sour on this. We're using a different yeast strain that actually ferments the beer while it sours it. Right?
Oh, okay.
And this one we use a different strain from a company out west called Berkeley Yeast. And they've gone in and genetically modified a yeast strain so that it throws off lactic acid as it's fermenting the beer. But it doesn't get as sour. It doesn't drop the pH as far as like we do with acid test. That's more like a sharper, sour that we do add some fruit to, but that's more like, that's a sour beer, right? You want sour and pucker. This is more about, that pastry flavor that's coming through. So we want to have it a little less sour and then really let the fruits and whatever else we're putting in there shine. So in this case, all that luscious, strawberry flavor oozing out of it. But then it's also brewed with some lactose, right? Milk sugar, for those of you who don't know, and vanilla. So that mimics that, sort of the scoop of ice cream on the top of your slice of pie kind of flavor.
Okay. No, I'm digging this.
Yeah, that's fun. Lightly soured with strawberry, lactose, and spelt flavors.
Can you not get the same, the same feeling from a kettle sour? Like because I feel like most people have seen, sour ales and now kettle sours. So this is like almost hitting that middle a little more.
It's a different way to do the quick sour, right?
Okay.
Because obviously, traditional sour Belgian, right? It's going to take you 3 years in a barrel, to do or whatever, right? don't have that kind of time for everything, right? Although we are doing a lambic-esque thing. I've got a barrel sitting around at Brew Yards now. It's 2 years in already. So
Okay.
yeah, excuse me.
Well, I'm sure the pandemic helped keep some of those let's
Yeah,
just throw a sour
yeah.
in here and see what happens. We'll come
But
back.
the difference with this approach versus a kettle sour, it's a couple things, right? One, brewery process, right? In the brewery, you're doing a kettle sour, you're adding lactobacillus into the tank, and you're shutting down the brew house for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. It depends on how long it takes your pH to drop, right?
Okay.
So you can't do anything in that kettle until it's dropped to the pH you want. And then you fire it up again, boil it, kill that bug that's in there that's been doing the souring, and then you go on your merry way, ferment the beer out. With this, we go ahead and we brew the beer, we brew the wort, and knock it out into the fermenter and just add this pitch into the FV, and it does all that work in that one vessel. So we don't have to tie up the brew house for
interesting.
a
Okay.
period of time. And as you guys know, we work out of District Brew Yards, 4 different breweries working there. There's a little bit of a premium on making sure the brew house is operating, right? The other thing, and more important, so that's a process thing. So, that's important for us. But what's important for the drinker, I think, is, to my palate, what these yeast strains do is they only produce lactic acid, right? That's the only thing that's adding to the sourness. Whereas with lactobacillus, you can get some other different components souring your beer. That can be some acetic acid that comes in, which can be a little bit harsher in nature. So that's why, sometimes, folks with kettle sours are like, ooh, that's a little bit,
Okay.
Not always, it depends, there's skill in being able to work that. But this provides us sort of a really, easy drinking sour that's only going to be lactic acid. It's always going to be, even keeled and smooth and very repeatable.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do you get this nice kind of, I don't know, strawberry syrup kind of color on something?
Isn't that an
like
awesome
this?
color?
That's it's very
Are you
nice.
videotaping this as well?
Yeah.
Can they see it?
Yeah.
It's very nice. Fills out the glass nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a shitload of strawberry in this, which helps. There's also a little bit of secret sauce in there. A little bit of beet juice, which is blood red. And, for anybody listening, doesn't taste like beets. Beet juice just tastes like sugar. In fact, that's what a lot of, refined sugar comes from is, beetroots these days. But it really has got a deep red color. So that kind of helps with that.
No, it's nice.
Nice. So you're doing this series now, there's 4 breweries in District Brew Yards, and each sort of have their own distinct style a little bit. What made you start doing these sour ales or shift to kind of this thing? Because you were these, I don't know, the pistachio cream ale. There's kind of fun ingredients, but also these juice trials were becoming a bigger thing. What made you kind of?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Switch to
So,
beer.
our DNA has always been, exploration and experimentation, right? And that's even where the name comes from, right? We feel like if you keep trying new things, you keep trying to push boundaries, you never know what's around the bend, right? Okay. And so it's just a natural extension, for my mind anyway, of where the brand should go, right? And we got into sours via the acid test series that we do, 2 years ago now, just because, I was drinking more and more sours, loving it, and I started exploring, well, what could we do that's different? What could we do that's, kind of our take, and around the bend take, a push on it. And I was at a meeting. I was actually over at On Tour, and one of the guys from Goose Island. So it was kind of like all the Chicago Brewing District brewers came together to get a readout on one of the Master Brewers Association meetings that the Goose guy had gone to up in fucking Canada, I think it was. I don't know where it was, Quebec or something like that. And he came down and was like, I know not everybody could go to this, so I'm gonna, I'll read out my notes if anyone wants to come. And he started talking about this yeast from Lallemand that does this fermenting in the FV, and also, I was like, wow, that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
That's right up our alley with doing things different, experimentation, new stuff in beer. I got to try it. And so that's where acid test started from, right? We started doing it that way. And then late last year, I was really enjoying sours and kind of seeing the popularity of more of the kind of the pastry, beers, happening out in the market, both from the sour and from the stout perspective, right? And I said, well, what if we applied that same, technology, as it were, that we're using on acid test, but in this other slightly different category of sours, right?
Okay.
And let's see what we can do there. So we piloted it and did, a small batch just at Brew Yards, and then made some tweaks on it, to kind of improve and bring those flavors up and through. And I just see it as really a natural extension of, what we do. We try to push boundaries, do new things, and see where they go.
That's fun that you guys are using this new yeast, because I feel like even the Quake yeast from Burnt City, they were like one of the not the first, but one of the people that were like, oh, they're like all about this. And
Yeah, they had the fest.
And now we've heard it from a few people. They're like, oh, if you want to have a beer ready in like 4 days, you just use this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
There's so much fun shit going on in brewing technology these days. It's like, we could do experiments like this ad infinitum, right? We've got a whole series of hazies like that we call the #science series,
Right.
where we do little experiments. And like the next one, we're going to do like the exact same beer, but use 2 different yeasts that are supposed to unlock thiols. And thiols are a chemical compound that's found both in hops and in malt, but it's generally glycotically bound up, so you don't really taste them. But Omega and again these Berkeley yeast guys who get the yeast for this have both used CRISPR to edit gene technology to make a yeast that unbinds the thiols and releases these guava and gooseberry and Sauvignon Blanc notes from hops and malt. So that'll be a fun thing that we're going to be doing coming up here in the next couple weeks as well. But that again,
Science is science, yeah.
Exploration. What's new? What's next?
Yeah,
What can we do with beer?
The last science one we had from you guys was it was a silver can with I feel like circles.
It's like
Colorful circles.
Control for Smilers, maybe?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we try to keep those all silver.
I know how it looks, but I don't remember the name. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tasty.
Yeah, and I enjoy how this strawberry pile of mode, everything that you say is in it, you taste it, but everything's kind of kept in check. Like you're getting it all at once, right? It's not like got edges or anything. It's just like very enjoyable, very approachable, I think.
Yeah, that's the other thing about this whole series, because I don't want to just be chasing trends, right?
Yeah.
Because some of these pastry sours, it's kind of hot out there. But I'm not going to name any names, but I've opened up a few cans of some of these, and it's like diabetes in a can, and it's like, that is too fucking sweet, and it's too much. So I'm glad you said, kept in check, balance.
Well, that's something we like from the kettle sours, like the Revs, like Freedom series.
Yeah.
They're good like summer beers too, and I like where this like winter, like you said, the stouts, you're gonna have the season. It's like, oh, you kind of need a similar thing in the summer. You want those fruit flavors, but not like a beer that's like, I just ate an entire pie.
Yeah, and that was sweet, but it wasn't like cloyingly sweet, right? It's not gonna bang you over the head with it. I like balance in our stuff, so that's what I'm going for.
And so now we just opened this blueberry pancake breakfast sour.
The breakfast sour. Everybody needs a good breakfast sour
Nick
in
is
their life.
always about these breakfast beers.
Man, and when the sour, when it's done right, like even like these kettle sours or any kind of small sours, it's like they can kind of take the place of what you would traditionally have for breakfast. And also, like if you've been drinking all day, it can kind of take the place of like your lager and your pills. Sometimes I'd prefer like a cider or a sour to just kind of keep the party going.
Is chorizo waffle BYOB?
Oh yeah, it's not chorizo waffle. What's the name of that joint?
It's churro waffle.
Churro waffle.
Churro waffle.
It's churro waffle.
Churro
It's a
waffles.
joint on
Sounds good.
Irving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as advertised. It's probably the best thing over here, man. Yeah, look at churro waffles, nice, man.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
breakfast joint.
Is it BYOB?
Yeah.
Or you can probably pick it up. And
We do whatever we want, Brad. Everything's BYOB,
So this one, to me, is like having a plate of blueberry pancakes right in front of you, man. I mean,
Yeah.
the maple syrup that we had in there really brings that sort of, plate of pancakes flavor to the fore. The blueberries are big and up front, and again, sweet, but not, not going to knock your teeth out sweet, right?
I feel like I just made like waffles this weekend. Like I was out, we were drinking at Still Life, and my wife and I were like, we need a waffle maker. We don't have one, and we ordered a waffle maker, so we just got one, and I feel like this would be a good beer to go with our waffles.
Right on, right on.
I like this one. And these beers are so pretty too, man.
Yeah, very deep purple hue. So this has no tricks to it. This is just from the blueberry juice that we get up at Greenwood. That's what's providing all that color to it. So
Now, is that a local thing, Greenwood? What you
yeah, they're up in Niles.
right on.
I've run into multiple different brewers. Like I've run into Mike from Microphone up there, like picking up fruit, or Jerome from Bulldog. I'm like, hey, I didn't know you were gonna be here today. You could have picked up my shit. But yeah.
So Nick and I were talking, I think right before you came, we're like, so there's 4 breweries here. Like, what? I don't know who's the most popular. Do you think? Is it pretty even?
We're all good friends over there.
Yeah, is it pretty?
Absolutely.
But is it pretty even? You think?
So
It is. It is pretty even, yeah.
People that don't know, I think we're talking Bulldog, Casa Humilde, Around the Bend, and Burn City. You know,
I feel like when I go there, I will often be like, well, I have to try one from everybody. There's
I
not,
think
like-
there's a lot of folks who do that. Absolutely, right? There's
feel like
4
we're-
walls there.
I feel like Around the Bend and Burn City have been around longer. I could be wrong, but
Little bit.
it feels like they've been around
Yeah,
longer than the
yeah,
other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, we're about to throw our 7th anniversary party.
Oh shit.
Yeah, our anniversary party is going to be the unofficial after party after Bug,
Oh, again, that's
because
remember
we're right down the road from Union Station. So
Right. You didn't come that one year.
There was a party.
Oh yeah, that was your.
Where was I?
I think that was your.
This was the last bug.
You went to Moore.
Oh
Your henna. You were
yeah.
a mess.
Yeah, I saw everybody at Bug, and I was like, it was 5 p.m. and I'm hungover. It was bad.
that's enough.
But it was like more henna and Bug were the same day, and Dark Day was the next day. It was a
jeepers.
mess.
Yeah, that's
it was a
too
mess. It was
much.
a bad idea.
Yeah, tell Katie to schedule better.
But can you? So it's at Union Station this time.
Yeah.
It's like a straight shot down lake basically, to get there. But can you get on the train right there? No.
From where? From downtown?
Yeah, from Union.
Where do you go from downtown? You gotta.
Because Bug will be at Union Station.
Union Station.
So you gotta walk up to the Green Line.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be. I think that's called the Lake Stop on the Green Line.
Oh, so it's not that far.
No.
Yeah. So
No.
you just
If you want to take the CTA, it's definitely doable because you'd get off at Lake and Ashland, and we're 2 blocks north.
Yeah.
because
so-
that's what the Bug in Garfield Park. You hop on the Green Line.
Yep,
Like 2
exactly.
stops the other
Yeah.
way.
So you come out the north entrance at Union Station, and then walk a few more blocks. I mean, get your 3-4 blocks in.
Or a quick Uber.
Get
either
on
way.
that, yeah, one of those,
yeah.
and get over there.
So 7 years, man. That's
7. I know. I can't believe it.
And then we were
The
talking.
7-year itch.
Nick was talking Revolution or not Revolution, Ravinia, and their new spot, and you guys started there.
We did.
Yeah.
Or not at
the
not
artist.
at Ravinia.
No,
but
no,
at
it was
the-
something else before.
Yeah, I forget. It was alt prop, right? And there was like a couple of breweries in there. I want to say at least 3.
It was Ale Syndicate.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. It was El Syndicate's joint. That's right.
It was Ale Syndicate's joint,
Man, this thing moves so
and
fast.
350 was working out of
350
there
was
with
there?
us.
And
They had a tank. And,
Arcade.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Arcade.
Arcade was there.
And 51st Ward did a little work out of there. here and there.
51st Ward. I didn't realize 350 was there.
I didn't realize that. I feel like Arcade got the worst of it all.
Arcade was doing, by far, after Ale Syndicate, I think they were doing the most volume out of there.
And then it just that's
Us,
closing.
between us and them was kind of neck and neck at the
But
end.
you
there.
were already making moves before.
We were already brewing down at Excel Brewing down in,
Like downstate somewhere.
yeah, East St. Louis or whatever the hell. Breeze, Illinois,
Out-
technically, but
out
it's
yonder.
basically, yeah. So we had moved most of our bottle, that was when we were in bottles.
Oh man.
We had moved most of our bottle volume down there and had 2 40-barrel tanks at the Ale Syndicate spot. And we're just doing that's where we did Vera for the first time as let's see what this does. And now it's our, bestseller, right? So, yeah. But we're just doing draft-only stuff out of there at the end. Thank God. because that unraveled quickly.
Hey, props to you, man, because you saw the writing on the wall, right? You kind of diversified your interests a little bit.
Well, we got lucky.
Okay.
More than anything. I don't know if I saw the writing on the wall. I was like, we couldn't keep up with the volume on that Maheen. I was going to break my back if we were going to try to bottle all that shit.
It was really, you were doing better. Like, you were doing so well, you had to move on.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like, I don't trust these guys. Or like, I don't.
No.
It was
it wasn't.
we just had
we
to
were
find
we got
someone else.
blindsided by the whole thing, but it ended up working out great because then we ended up moving on and working with Bird City when they were over at the Jay's Potato Chip Factory.
Right.
But they had a canning line, so we moved out of bottles and into cans. So it was like all this serendipitous shit that always happens, when you're whatever journey you're on, right? So
Yeah. And then, District Brew Yards is going to open up the new spot at the old Ram.
up in Wheeling. Yeah, you heard, huh?
You're part of that, right?
Yeah, we are. We definitely are. We're working on getting that going right now. So construction is happening. We just got, I think, knock on wood, I think we got through all the permitting issues. And
Okay.
so, it's going to happen sometime this summer.
I feel like
Oh, wow.
Wheeling or just the city, whatever chamber would be like, yeah, just get something in here in this abandoned building.
Right? We want the tax revenue.
Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. It's gonna be a similar. So it's gonna be a similar layout, right? As like pour your own beer, kind of.
We'll do the pull your own thing, beer hall. Lily's Q is going to run the kitchen up there. We're going to have a couple of additional food options in addition to just. It'll be all run by Lily's Q, but be more than just barbecue and chicken. Although there will be barbecue and chicken up there.
Okay.
But yeah, some other fun stuff. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be good.
That's cool. And then so it'll be you and District Brew Yards, and then the other breweries are TBD.
Yeah, I don't know where we are with announcements, so I'm going to just kind of keep that.
That's fine. All right. We'll ask after.
Chill until we
stop
send out the
recording.
press release. Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say right now, so I'm just going to not say anything.
Yeah, drink some more beer.
Yeah, exactly. The 9% stout here. Yeah.
Is it really a 9%?
Yeah.
That's funny.
You ready to go?
I don't know.
These pastry sours we've been drinking, the strawberry and blueberry, these are only 6%, which I thought was a real good landing spot for this style. You want something that's not wimpy, but not overpowering either. You could have more than one at 6, right?
That's fair.
Yeah, I feel like 6.5 is kind of like that good spot to be like, okay. And then once you get over 7, people, or at least me, is like, I don't know if I want that one. I'll go with this like 4% beer.
You think. At 7, you think, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a thinker. And at 9, it's like half.
Yeah,
I gotta split this with somebody.
You got like a small pour?
Well, 9's a sharing size nowadays. I mean, unless you're overwhelmed, like we know. Like sometimes you just want to be overwhelmed by something. Then you're just like, open another one. Yeah, get after it. But not all the time.
I did open one of our barrel-aged barley wines on Masters Saturday and said, I'm drinking a goddamn barley wine
Sometimes
today.
that's where you want to be.
Yeah, I opened it at like 2 p.m. and I think I finished it at like 7. So just a sipper.
Yeah.
Take a while with it,
Has there been any beers in the series so far you were like thinking a flavor might work, like a rhubarb or a kiwi? And
Oh yeah,
like,
what were the
just
other
like-
ideas that led to the final lineup?
This is all really new, right? And so, like I say, we piloted these two. In fact, this blueberry one we're drinking now is the pilot version. We just did a 7-barrel of that and only sold it out of Brew Yards so far, but we're brewing it next week for distro. So we'll do a big 30-barrel batch of it, and very few changes are going to happen to this blueberry one. It is kind of locked. It's what it is. The strawberry one, when we first made it, it didn't have that deep red color we had, so we knew we wanted to get more of that in. It needed a little more sweetness. It needed a little more of the milk sugar. So, we made some changes and turned out, great when we, had it ready to go out to the public. We've got a whole list of other ideas that we'll be doing. Likely after the blueberry pancake will be a key lime pie, we're thinking.
Nice.
And then, we'll see how fast these all sell through, but that should get us to a point in the year where then we're ready to transition over to the stout side of things. So we've got a cinnamon roll ready to go for that. We've got a French toast flavor ready to go for that. A bunch of different ideas. So
Oh, cool. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because it could become a very seasonal fruit thing too. Like I don't know all the fruits and things that are available throughout the year, but yeah,
Totally, right?
Whatever berry is in season, you're like, all right, it's time for
It's
boysenberry.
it's the fruit consideration, but then it's also like I don't want to do a pie every time. You know, that's why we got pancakes coming up second, and we're gonna go back to pie. But I've got like crostadas and like other pastry items.
Yeah.
You know that we're
chocolate croissants.
that we're thinking. Ooh, that's a good idea. That's interesting. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah.
Chocolate croissants are underrated.
Now, how would you mimic those flavors in a beer though? Because the big thing with the croissant is the flaky texture.
That's true. It's kind of
The
buttery.
croissant.
Right?
Buttery.
Butter.
And chocolate.
Wonder
I don't
if
know.
you could-
Think about that. It's an interesting
Could
challenge.
you sour it without people thinking it was off to get that like buttery?
I would probably do that one in a stout rather than
Yeah.
in a sour.
Yeah, but if you've got like that buttery bacteria in it that wasn't, yeah, I don't know.
Just create a shitload of diacetyl.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Nick's face on that one.
Like it's
Whatever.
An acceptable version, an acceptable amount of diacetyl. Yeah.
Chocolate
Right.
diacetyl, let's go. Man, that's fun. I don't know, yeah, the different series are great that you've been kicking out. I don't know, it's fun to just go there and be like, all right, I'll have my Vera and then I'll try this whatever series on.
You know what I like about the series is it gives you a sandbox to play in, right? And sometimes when you guys know this, because you're both in creative endeavors, right? When you just unbound creativity and say go do whatever, it's harder because there's so many choices that can be made. But if you say these are the parameters, right? Now we're dealing with pastry stouts, right? Or now we're dealing with high-end hazies or whatever with hashtag science. Now you've got a sandbox that you're playing in, and you have a set of parameters. It's like, okay, what am I going to do within that? And it actually makes it easier to create, I find, when you have some sort of defining parameter.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
No, yeah, totally. So it also helps you if you get bored in one set, you'd be like, all right, it's time for this
Yeah,
other set.
we're never bored. We're doing stuff all the time.
Yeah, we understand, the brew yards, the shared space, right? And everybody's got their own wall. We don't know how the different brands play together. So, like, are there times where you guys are just kind of riffing and throwing ideas off each other, and you might come up with something that somebody else uses?
You're like, oh, that's not a Around the Bend beer. That's a Bulldog beer. Like, you guys you should run with this. I think it would work good. Maybe next to your
Exactly.
mango Hefeweizen, and let's do a kiwi Hefeweizen.
Or are those things kind of separated, and everyone just kind of says, all right, these are my songs, and this is what I'm bringing, and record these songs. Or
Yeah,
how does it work?
it's a little more the latter, where the collaborating or the helping each other happens is when somebody has a definitive idea that they're working on. They're like, have you ever faced X problem or Y problem? We bounce that kind of shit off each other. It's not so much like I'm thinking about making this beer. Well, no, I'd rather do that. That doesn't happen. No.
Okay.
No. We're all coming up with our own, ideas. We're cognizant of what each other is doing, and we wouldn't want to step on anybody's toes if like somebody came up with an idea,
Right.
a very
was
specific
like,
idea.
We're doing strawberry beers, and everyone's like, I already have one that's like ready to go.
And it's fine if somebody else, like Bulldog, I'm pretty sure has done a strawberry sour.
Okay.
In their strawberry, or a strawberry, they've done a strawberry something. I can't remember if it was a sour, if it was one of their hefts or what. But that's okay. We can both do that because we have this is a very different take on a strawberry beer than anything that's been done in-house, to date. And that's cool. But if like I've made it, kind of known that when we open up Wheeling, I'm working on a low-cal, low-carb beer, right?
Okay.
That is still craft and full-flavored, right? A tricky trick, but
Yeah.
I think I've got a way to do that. And I'm like, I don't want anybody else doing low-cal, low-carb.
Okay.
Because I'm doing that, So don't fuck with that area right now,
That probably feels pretty good for the suburban audience out there. That would probably.
We may put it on in Ashland too. I think it could be good for the summertime. We'll see. But it's that kind of thing where it's like if it's a you know, you're taking a whole area, you know, and well, let me rephrase that, because a whole area sounds bigger, and like it's like nobody's gonna do, like I'm doing Hefeweizen. Nobody can do a Hefeweizen here except me. Well, that's bullshit. You can't just take a whole category of beer, right? You know, and
especially like a core classic style.
yeah,
We do IPAs. You can't do IPAs.
yeah, like that wouldn't fly, right? That wouldn't be cool. But if you have a very specific idea, you know, like I'm talking about here.
I'm like, is that me? Like, what the fuck's going on?
It's not me.
Okay, then it's probably me.
Oh, maybe it's mine.
Anyway, did I answer your question about how
I think so.
that
Yeah,
works?
it sounds like you more or less kind of just stake out like, yo, this is what I'm doing, instead of like the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You kind of make claims on what you're gonna do and bring everyone in the loop. If
Yeah,
you're
and
feeling passionate,
if there's
about
something very specific, like that doesn't happen very, like this one I felt was like specific enough where I'm like, you know, I always kind of want to let you guys know I'm doing this, you know, so it's not all try to do this, you know, and it's all cool. It's like no hard feelings or nothing like that.
Well, it gives you also, you get to test out this yeast, and you're like, hey, this is good. You guys should.
Now, yeah, that's a good point. So, like, if anybody else at Brew Yards wanted to use either the Lalamond or the Berkeley, you know, these bioengineered yeasts that do the souring, have at it. That'd be great. 'Cause I think it's a great technology.
And then
That's
you
cool.
know a little more like, oh yeah, this worked or this whatever.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So with each of those different strains, you know, we charted very closely on a day-by-day basis how is the pH dropping, so we could see what that profile looked like. Find, you know, like where is it gonna end up, and like temperature can affect that.
Okay.
So if you ferment at this temperature, you're gonna end up down here. If you ferment up here, you'll have a higher, you know, finishing pH. Happy to share that info with everybody.
Do you have to worry with the yeast? I know other people who do sour beers or sour breweries have like almost like a dedicated area so it doesn't like infect other beers.
So
like,
that's the other great thing about this is these are Saccharomyces strains of yeast.
So it's not
regular sac strains.
around. Okay.
There's no bugs in it. It's just been that one gene has been edited
Nice.
so that it throws off lactic acid in the fermenter.
That's great.
So you don't have to worry
that's what
about
it sounded like, and I was like, that
clean
makes
versus sour. You
so
don't have
much
to worry
more
about that.
sense. Like, having,
That's another nice thing, yeah.
yeah, having to worry about like everyone else's beer, be like, all right, now everything's infected.
Yes, we definitely don't want that. We have that little area. You guys have both been to Brew Yards, so you know in the cellar we have that little area in the back that we call the acid lab, where there's some little 7-barrel fermenters back there and separate hoses. So if we are gonna mess with bugs, that all happens back there.
Okay.
And you know, different equipment, like I say, different hoses that doesn't ever touch clean beers. So we've got, you know, like I said, we've got that lambic, you know, lambic-esque. It's not, you can't be a lambic if you're not in Belgium, right? But it's of that family.
style, lambic style.
Yeah, it's got, you know, the Brett and the Pediococcus and, you know, all that in there. And that was done back there and then put into barrels, you know. So we can do that, but yeah, this allows us to play in the bigger batches. And like that beer, that lambic beer, whenever that is done, that won't be able to go into cans because that can't touch the canning line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have a separate like little hand bottle filler that we'll have to do it on that in like 750s or 500 milliliter bottles.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, the canning line does not get any beers with bugs, ever.
Does your personal professional brewing story kind of begin when Around the Bend started, or were you at other locations before you had the idea for Around the Bend? Like, what's the backstory there?
No, I spent 20 years in the advertising and marketing business before the entrepreneurial bug, you know, kind of really bit me so hard that I had to jump
Speaking of bugs.
and do it. Yeah, exactly right. But I started homebrewing back in like '95. Back in college days. So, and I kind of just kept that up all the way along as I was working through, you know, my first career. And I knew just enough about brewing to be really dangerous in a brew house, you know? So I definitely, that was the first, you know, thing I did was I reached out and I got a partner who still works with me on a, you know, kind of a contract basis, you know, as my, you know, quasi head brewer or, you know, brewing technology specialist or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so he provides a lot of technical assistance on that end. But yeah, we come up with all the recipes, and sometimes I'll still, if it's something really wild we're doing, we did this with strawberry pie before we did this in a 7-barrel at Brew Yards. I busted out the rig at home and I did a 6-gallon batch of it, just to play with that yeast and kind of see what it does. And, yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, I love how the roots in pro brewing are like directly related to like home brewing.
Yeah.
And you can yield some really cool professional results and just direct link all the time. It's pretty cool to always kind of hear that theme.
Yeah, that you could just start at home and be like, all right, work. Yeah, I got here by just brewing in my kitchen and
just doing what you feel, right?
Essentially, yeah. And being just dumb enough to try this.
Like we're going. We're gonna do this times 100, 1,000. Yeah.
So we just opened the cinnamon roll breakfast stout, and yeah, that cinnamon is big and makes me like instantly think of like winter and Christmas. Like,
Does it?
It's hard to like not get like that burst of cinnamon and be like, oh wait, is it snowing? Like feel it.
I'm probably my own biggest critic, so like when I drink this, I notice things that I definitely want to change. When we brew this again, a little less roast, a little more sweetness. Oh, yeah. A little more, get more of that. So the cinnamon is there, I agree with you, but I need more of that, like the icing on a cinnamon roll.
Okay.
I need to bring more of that out, I think, when we do this again to go out to market.
Yeah.
So I know what we need to do to tweak that one, but yeah, it's a good first effort.
Yeah, I get more of the sweet bread, more of the cinnamon, and like hints of like because of the body, like hints of like a cola a little bit for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a very kind of gourmet.
A Christmas cola.
Yeah, I'm getting those kind of vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we think this is going to be a really fun series. We don't know how.
Oh shit! This is 9%.
That one is, yeah.
Oh man.
That's the thing that Joe does really well in his recipes. Just hides the alcohol.
It doesn't pour like that
really
at all.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how. I mean, the strawberry pie. We shipped it to Glunt's 3 weeks ago, and there's only like 30 cases left in inventory. We sold out all the 6 barrels already. So.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a good start for this one. You can still find it out there if you're looking for it.
Okay. And it's still on
shelves
tap
at Brew Yards. Yep. And then we'll move on to blueberry pie after that, and we'll see. Hopefully, it becomes a big part of the lineup because we like these beers.
Yeah. So have you been over to District Brew Yards in a while? Since all of everything happened?
It's been a while. I'm due for a visit. Okay. I popped in there randomly.
And come after Bug.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
that's our time to go, right?
Yeah. Because I do love the modern beer hall aesthetic of Brew Yards. Yeah. And then when we drink it on the show, I'm reminded, like, man, all 4 of these guys, they're bringing it. And if you go there, you can have them all, and pour your own beer. I like the whole setup. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what people like the most is the ability to not be locked into one thing. Like I can go have 2 ounces of this and 2 ounces of that and 3 ounces of that.
Yeah.
Or if you find one you really love, pour yourself a whole pint of it. Absolutely.
We had like a little work meetup there, and one of the ladies brought her husband, and he wasn't part of the community, and he just went and had 2 ounces of every beer. He went down the entire list and checked in on Untapped on every of them.
That's 80 ounces of beer.
He was like, jeez, man.
That's a young man sport right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just come back to the table with like a handful of plastic cups. You're like,
that's awesome.
All right, that's next.
I think we're taking like a pick or 2, right?
Yeah.
To remember the beer.
Checking in and going down the list. It was like crazy.
That's hardcore. But we all been there. I've definitely been there. Just removed from it. But I've definitely been there.
What I like seeing at Brew Yards is somebody will go up and you can just hear the thought bubble and that, they look at the screen and they're like, that sounds weird. And you watch them put their card in and do a really short pour. And then they like stand right there at the tap and they taste it. And then they go in for the full pour, and they fill up that glass. It's like, that's awesome,
Yeah, because that's right. I feel like, there's no other brewery that does that, but there's other concepts of like pour your own concepts. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, I don't know who came first, but I feel like at least I personally visited brew yards before I visited these other places.
Tapster, or one of those.
Navigator.
Exactly.
Navigator,
We just
right.
named the other two.
Those are the other two in town. Yeah.
Right, we just named the other two. But yeah, I feel like those, either I haven't been to those or I was just at brew yards first. I feel like that was kind of like the edge of it, and then the other ones came.
Yeah, I haven't gone the other two, but I don't know what I would want. I don't know why I would go there when I could go to District Brew Yards and have fresh beer
Actual-
brewed
right.
there.
It's
When
actual
it's like,
brew
oh, what am I gonna go to? I don't know what Navigator. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have tried the Sierra Nevada like this, or
Right,
or be like,
exactly.
oh, I'm gonna have Pipeworks beer, or like, okay, cool, all right.
That's where I think the synergy of brewed on site and pour your own, and the great food that we have there, like it all just kind of works together to make it more than
Yeah.
How does this feels like a good match for you, right? Because you're going to expand and do the thing and willing. But how does this compare to the other relationships? Did you even have those kind of conversations, like maybe with I guess at the space with Arcade, or the space with where you were
To like open up the own spot.
Yeah, did you even like have those kind of conversations with those other crews that you've worked with in the past?
No, I mean, where we started, over at, the now defunct Ale Syndicate space, that was always like, a short term, get it started, kind of thing, right? The all prop thing was always meant to be, a precursor to, opening our own space. And then when that, devolved the way it did, and we had to pivot really quickly, and Burnt City, I had just happened to have a conversation with them like a couple weeks before. Their COO Greg was pouring next to me at a liquor store beer fest, tasting event, and he was like, "Hey, if you ever need an extra capacity, we just did this thing down at the Jay's Potato Chip Factory." I'm like, "No, we're good. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, "Hey, you remember when we talked?" So that just sort of was serendipitous, the way that relationship started. But then it was a year into that, it was, Steve, who owns Burnt City, came and sat me down and was like, "I've got this idea." And it was like, why is there, food halls are all the rage in restaurant land for XYZ reasons, right? Why is there no food hall for beer? And like the light bulb just went off with me. And so it was at that point, like we were at this fork in the road. It's like, we're either gonna go, do another fundraising round and go build our own thing, or we're gonna go and we're gonna do this thing. And we're gonna partner up over here and do this. And so, the vision, that he had for it, and the scope and the scale of it, I'm like, we're never gonna be able to do anything that kind of grand on our own in the near term, So I'm like, let's bet on that. So.
And it, like, for you, it de-risks it a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
You're like, this isn't my spot, but it is my brand, and so if it fails, well, that's us. But at the same time, it's like you're not. All right, we raised $1 million, a couple $1 million to build a brewery here.
Right, exactly. So. And this relationship doesn't preclude us from doing something like
That's
that.
cool.
In fact, I just looked at a building not too long ago. Well, I guess it was, a couple months ago now, but it's perfect for what I would want to do. Can't come to terms with the guy who thinks it's worth, the sun on the moon. So fine, go ahead, see if you can get that. But like if that deal ever came together, we could go do that as well.
Oh, okay. So
and still continue. Yeah.
Oh, because you could be in District Brew Yards and then have
our own thing somewhere. Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Could. And maybe that'll happen someday. But
I feel like that would benefit both in a sense. Like, okay, people like our beer. They're also going to come to District Brew Yards
Absolutely.
more beer and then learn about these other breweries.
And we're hoping, there's no set plans or anything, but we're hoping that there's more than 2 District Brew Yards at some point.
Right.
So we'll see how that all goes, right?
Nice. Yeah. I find ourselves. I'm just so, we're saucing a little bit, but something about, man, like, we drink a lot of Around the Bend, and I'm not sure why that is, right? I mean, it's good.
You're not sure.
I just keep buying it.
we keep drinking it. It's something about the logo, right? We hang out with you, and then like you got this cool history, and then all these different types of approaches. I've had the barrel aged barley wine, all these different styles of beer, and it's it's just a very cool project. I think that's all of us. It just kind of dawned on me, like, man, we've been drinking these beers for a while, you know. And I'm just glad it's like a part of the scene, you know.
Thank you. That's nice to say.
That's cool, man.
I think our biggest problem, you know, still to date is brand awareness. Yeah. I feel like, you know, we'll go to like, you know, tastings at a liquor store or a festival and like, oh, you know, who are you? How long have you been around? I'm like, 7 goddamn years, man. How do you not know?
It's hard, man.
It's just because there's so many.
It's hard.
There's so many, and there's so many great small breweries in this town doing great work.
Well,
making great beer.
We
you know,
do
so
we do a show like basically every week, and Nick just went to a brewery this past weekend. They were like, we didn't even know this was a place.
No fucking.
It was inside a distillery.
And that's the only reason I went, because it was a distillery. Pandemonium Brewing. Nightshade and Dark Pandemonium Brewery.
I heard about them just recently, yeah.
I just happened to be going to the distillery, and I'm like, wait, there's a brewery here? Right? And
See?
You just kind of fell into
They're
it.
probably like 5 years old.
Throw a dead cat and you'll hit a brewery in this town, you know? I mean...
Yeah, the journey, man. The journey is
So
something,
like we
man.
went to, man, what was it, like 2 months ago, we went to Lunar.
I love Lunar.
Which is the weirdest place.
The Neil Armstrong that they make every kind of Christmas time, fantastic.
He like, I was like, Nick, let's go to more. And then I put in the GPS, and we were thinking we'd go to the Huntley one, and I put in the wrong one.
Oh,
And
okay,
so
for
we're
Villa
like-
Park?
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, we're totally in the wrong spot. Where are we? I was like, wait, Lunar is
It's right over there.
So we went to Lunar, and it was like 4 o'clock on like a Wednesday or something, right?
Yeah.
And we walk in, it was the weirdest, like, it was almost like everyone looked at us coming in.
Now, did you guys go in the back and see the brew setup?
No, we didn't.
No.
Oh, you should have.
No.
You have to next time.
Okay.
It will freak you out. Like, they make some really good beers there, but it's like, it's Frankenbrew, man. It is like
We
just...
said the place felt like it was a VFW that was a brewery.
Yeah.
It had like
That's a
card
great, it's a
tables.
great description. Got the dartboard over there.
Yeah.
And,
I think it was like around Christmas time. They still had Halloween decorations up.
yeah, it sounds about right. That sounds about right.
I'm like, they for sure do Breakfast with Santa and all the...
Toys for Tots.
They for sure do all that shit up in here, man.
But they're like another brand that of someone they've been around for so long. I just like they fly under the
They're just doing their thing. Yeah,
they're good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a fun ride, man.
But yeah, I feel like the business side of the small brewing game is like way harder than the making the beer side, you know?
Okay.
And like, you know, breaking through in the market and all that, you know?
Yeah, because some of it is like, all right, you know, whoever's selling your beer, like you roll with Glunz, and some of the responsibility you just kind of, you know, defer to Glunz. But a lot of it, it's like, if it's gonna work, and it's your vision, so you're really kind of pushing it yourself. And like,
I mean, yeah, I've got 2 sales guys on payroll for us, you know, on the supplier side. Yeah, Glunz has been a great partner to us, but it's like if you're gonna break through in that, even in that book, you got to have your own people focused on your brand. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's advice I got from even before we started, from multiple different people. It's like, don't rely on anyone else to sell your beer.
Yeah.
You must take responsibility for that. You know, otherwise this is not going to happen. So.
Yeah, that's I don't know, it's an interesting thing because we go to these different breweries, we drink different beer, or a new beer maybe is done at the brewery, but like someone like Phase 3 or Hop Butchers kind of like broke through the noise out of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And how? I don't know. We don't even drink them that often, but yet people know them. It's weird.
The power of a brand, and I know a lot about that, but it's just like, and doing it is a different thing, you know? It's like,
But you also like doing something different helps break through that too.
Yeah,
and I feel
absolutely.
like we talked about the kettle sours, but this is a different thing, and it's kind of like it could break through, and people are gonna like find this and be like, oh, I like these flavors better than these other flavors.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
fun.
We just like to make all kinds of different stuff and have an option for everybody, you know?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Right on.
Cool. Nick, anything we missed? I think we talked. Oh, we did forget to ask you. You showed up the first time we did an interview. You showed up with this like briefcase.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
with
did.
your beers in them.
Oh, yeah, the Bev Pad. That's right. That thing is cool.
We have like talked about this. I think. Been like,
Since we last saw you. It's like some international man of mystery shit. This fucking
Should have brought the
suitcase.
bed pad today.
That was
I didn't have
disappointing.
as many, so I figured out that it's fit in the little thing.
Yeah,
so.
we're playing Mario Kart, and I'm like, I bet he just lost it over the years.
No, I have that. I have that. I still have it.
It was really cool. When we first saw it, it was like the scene in Pulp Fiction where he opens it and it glows, and we're like,
Yellow.
what the fuck's going
What's
on?
in there?
It was cool, man. Yeah.
I will remember to bring that next time then. Absolutely.
Anything else we missed that we were like, we gotta ask about?
Man, I think we touched it all, man. Around
What's
the
coming
bend.
up at District Brew Yards? There's like a Wing Fest thing happening soon.
Yeah, Charlie's throwing a wingding with a bunch of great chefs in town. Stephanie Izard and I'm going to forget who all else, but they're doing a thing over there for that. That'll be a lot of fun. That's coming up soon.
Bug after party.
The Bug After Party. And
Illinois Craft Beer Week, not Chicago.
we did the first in a series of beer dinners that we're going to be doing at Brew Yards. I think it was last week. And so we're going to like do single breweries. So like the first one around was Burn City.
Okay.
And so Charlie, from Lily's Q, had the guys in the kitchen make some dishes to pair with, I think it was 4 courses. It might have been 5. Don't quote me on that, but it was like, all Burn City beers, and then they made something to go with each one of those. And It was like a set price and come in. And so then we'll take a turn doing that, and Casa will take a turn doing that, and Bulldog. So those will kind of roll out throughout over the summer. That'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, in the patio, once the weather gets good, hopefully soon. And so, oh my God, this weather's killing me. But yeah, got the big patio out there.
Definitely fake spring right now.
Fake spring.
Yeah, 71 day, 35 next. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's sunny, but it's 80-mile-an-hour winds today.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
That's the city.
I
man.
went running and almost like blew over.
You're
I
insane.
was like, all right, I gotta go back.
And I see your Sox sweatshirt. So if you have any Sox fans listening and you go to the game, go to the Craft Cave. We've got
ATB's there.
Vera and acid test down there this
right
year.
on.
So
Right on.
Nice.
Yeah.
You took the picture of
Now I
the
know.
cave. Did you see it?
Yeah. There was a ton of beers though.
Yeah.
There are
It's
a
like
ton of beers.
60,
maybe like
60 beers.
6 coolers. Full. Yeah. So you got to be targeted. Yeah.
yeah,
That's good to know. Yeah. So I'm gonna check it out next time I go.
You're there like every other
I mean,
day.
it's like if we stay
Whatever the giveaway is.
if we stay at home, we're gonna argue. If we go to Sox Park, we can drink 60 different beers, and there's a cool giveaway. This was a giveaway.
That was a
Nice.
giveaway?
Yeah.
do you guys have season tickets?
No. 10 game.
Oh yeah,
10
right on.
game. So like partial.
My wife and my oldest were supposed to go last night, and they were like looking at the weather at about 3:00, and we're like, maybe not. We'll hit a game soon.
Cool.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. This is
Yeah.
fun as always.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming into like the new space. Your first
Yeah.
guest here with
It's
us.
nice. I like it.
So, this is great, yeah. So ChicagoBeerPass.com, where all the episodes are. Follow Around the Bend. Follow District Brew Yards. Keep up to date. And we're always drinking their beer. So keep a lookout for more episodes.
Right
Take
on.
care.
Cheers.
Cheers.